Here it is.
What are you talking about?
All your questions will be answered.
Welcome to the world of
Cinema.
That's our take.
Welcome to That's Our Take, where we, the Jacksons, discuss many of the over 12,000 movies we have seen with a focus on classic cinema. All right, today we are going to be discussing
Robert Redford,
who recently passed away, and we are going to be talking about our favorite movie of his. Is it Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid?
No.
Is it The Sting?
No.
Is it The Natural?
No.
No, it is 1992's Sneakers. That's it. That's our favorite movie of Robert Redford's.
You know what I realized? We didn't go through what we said our topics would be, though.
Oh, that's true. Maybe we can do that. But I think most of our time is going to be spent talking about this movie.
For sure.
So, just to let you know, we might be spoiling some things in this movie. So, if you have not seen it yet, press pause, go watch the movie, come back and listen to this. You should have seen this movie, but if you haven't, go watch it. It's fantastic. As this next hour or so, we will tell you, it is.
So, Sneakers is about this group of people who come together and they find weaknesses in people's security systems, be it bank or whatever, or help people with what they're trying to protect. And they show them, this is how we were able to break in, this is what we did, this is what we got, here's what you need to fix.
So people hire you to break into their places to make sure no one can break into their places?
It's a living.
Not a very good one.
That's the whole point of the beginning of the movie, right? That's the whole point why they're called Sneakers. Who knows how long they've been doing this, but that's basically what they do. But in the beginning of his life, Robert Redford's character had a friend who's Ben Kingsley, and they were screwing around when they were young and in college, hacking computer systems and sending money and funds from different organizations to others they felt deserved it more. And Ben Kingsley's character gets caught, and Robert Redford's character gets away. Still wanted by the police, but he gets away. And then he starts a life under an alias. And so what comes to light is that someone finds out who Robert Redford's character really is, and they use that to blackmail him into performing a job very similar to what they usually do. But the difference with this job is that the people this is happening to are completely unaware this is happening to them. So,
Yeah, that's great synopsis. Excellent job.
thank you. Watch the movie.
So, I am excited. We just watched it recently, and I'm very excited about talking about it. I actually have some questions for you.
For me?
Yeah, about
Okay.
the movie. One question I have: how would you classify this movie in a genre?
Mystery comedy.
Mystery comedy?
What about you?
The comedy's in there for me, for sure. And I would say, like, well, almost, well, it's not really action. I guess mystery works, but definitely, I mean, comedy is in there. And that's what I wanted to know, if you would classify it in the comedy area.
For sure. I wouldn't say it's a straight comedy by any means, but it definitely it has really good laughs.
Yeah. I was watching it this time. I was paying attention. There are very few sequences or scenes without humor in it. Like, I can name one scene, like when Kreese is loading his gun and everybody's sleeping that night in the warehouse. Like, there's no humor in that particular shot.
Oh.
But everything else, there's humor, like, in every single moment in this movie. And the humor is really good. Another one, if you were to liken this movie, because it's, we talk about how we will focus on the classics, and in my head, that's a different thing. But this movie is over 30 years old, and for some people, that's in the classics area. But it's not a modern movie. um, by most definitions. If you were to say this movie was akin to any more recent movies, what would you say it's like?
Part of me says it's slightly akin to Knives Out,
Okay.
but this is more espionage
It is, huh? Because it deals with like governments and stuff.
for
That's,
sure.
you know,
So I'm trying to think what are some other espionage movies?
it's true. You know, it's funny. I don't think while you're thinking about that, I don't think I've ever really classified it or put that in there um as an espionage kind of movie, but that's definitely part of the movie. I was kind of liken it to sort of a heist kind of movie.
Yeah, it's heist like. Let's see. Movie similar
Mm,
to Sneakers, The Pelican Brief.
hang on. That one's the John Grisham one.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts and Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
The Net with Sandra Bullock.
I'm curious to know if the movie I think of is on that list that you're looking at.
This one says Dave. I don't know why. I love Dave, but that's not.
The humor, maybe?
Maybe. No Way Out, Enemy of the State. So kind of those espionage type movies.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a espionage movie where people don't know they're in an
Yeah.
espionage type
Yeah.
role. So it feels more like that mystery, which is why I think I go to Knives Out because it is that mystery of what's going on,
Right.
which also go coincides with your heist idea for me
Hmm.
for part of it, right? It's a very heist movie. That's like the complete reason that is driving this. I can't guess. What's your comparison?
I would say the recent Ocean's 11.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I see it. That didn't come up on this list search, but it totally should.
Yeah. I think it has. I would be surprised if Steven Soderbergh
Well,
wasn't.
he had to have gotten inspiration from this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Ocean's 11 was an original
Right.
back with Dean
Sinatra.
Martin
Hmm.
and them, the Rat Pack, right?
Hmm.
But even being remade, I feel this takes a lot from Sneakers with the updating and the things that it does. Also, the humor.
The humor.
The original Ocean's 11, I don't remember as well because I wasn't as big a fan of it comparatively to the remake.
Yeah.
But with that being said, the humor in the new Ocean's 11 is very akin to the humor in Sneakers for me
Yeah.
because it's not hit you over the head with funny, but it's funny.
Yeah. There's a lot of good like subtle like humor in both. I would say if you haven't seen this movie yet, and if you're a fan of Ocean's 11, I would say at least the first one, um, the with George Clooney and Brad Pitt, I would definitely suggest watching Sneakers because it's personally actually I think it's a better movie than Ocean's 11, but I do like Ocean's 11 quite a bit. There is, you know, you mentioned the old one. There is a gag in the old Ocean's 11 movie that's in this movie in Sneakers.
What?
In the old Ocean's 11 movie, there's a scene, I forget which actor it is, but they're putting blackout makeup on so they don't stand out, and they offer it to Sammy Davis Jr. And he makes some sort of like look at it like what are you thinking? You know.
That's funny.
So they do something similar to that in this when River Phoenix character Carl, and he's putting all that makeup on, and Cindy Poitier comes up and stares at him.
You know, when I first saw this, I was probably 10-ish years old, okay? So it was probably the first film I'd actually ever seen of River Phoenix. Um, and ever thought he was in the movie that much. But he's actually in the movie more than I remember him being in it. It's a really good job. Um, he's a naive young kid, but he does a good job. It's pretty cute.
He, from what I understand, because he had done My Own Private Idaho just before this, and he was deep into that character, and it really messed with his mind a lot, and he wanted something simple, something light to be a part of it, and that's why he accepted the role for this.
So, what are you guys gonna do with your share of the money? Carl?
I'd like to have a deep relationship with a beautiful woman who melts from the very first time our eyes meet.
Which it is. It's totally. It's a fun role that he plays. Like he said, he plays this kid-like character, and he thinks like an adolescent, even though I think he's supposed to be.
Like 21, 22,
Yeah, I think he's
maybe.
early
Well,
20s.
that's the age he is.
They mentioned
But
something
they
at
mention
19.
how they found him was him changing a grade in school. But I don't know if they say high school or college. But we do know he's at least 18-ish years old, maybe. I'm assuming that's about his age because, he's not running off home or talking about parents. He's, seems a little more mature. So I'd say at least he's 18 or to 20.
Yeah, he's been an independent adult for a little while at least. The casting, by the way, you mentioned this is probably the first time you'd seen River Phoenix. For me too. I think actually the first time I'd seen River Phoenix was in The Last Crusade. He plays
Like young
the young Indiana
Indy.
Jones.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, it's a really small. It's not a real big part. So this was the first time I had actually seen him in something. It is actually also for me, since we're talking about him, I believe this was the first Robert Redford movie I'd ever seen. I hadn't seen anything before then, and I definitely saw some afterward. So this movie came out in 92, and so like September of 92, and then a month later, River Runs Through It came out. And he's not in it, but he narrates, and obviously he directed the movie. And that's all I knew about Robert Redford was these two movies. And I had no idea that he had such a history in Hollywood, and I had only known him from that point moving forward. And so I didn't really discover his earlier movies until later in my life. So that was for me, that was my introduction.
I mean, for some context, we looked it up, and Robert Redford was 62.
56 was
Or
Robert Redford.
I thought you said 62.
Sidney Poitier was 65.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Robert Redford was 56.
Was 56. Okay. So Robert Redford was 56, and we were both 10 or 11 years old.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of his catalog that we probably weren't exposed to until later in our lives.
Yeah.
But talking about some of the portrayals, so let's kind of work up the list of characters a little bit. We'll save Robert Redford to the end.
Okay.
And I'm gonna kind of be mean, and we're just gonna kind of go very quickly over the female lead part.
Okay.
She's in it. She's pivotal in it.
She is.
She's good in it.
Mhm.
And I really feel that sums it up. I don't feel there's anything about her character that is super groundbreaking that we would like really need to discuss, unless you disagree.
Well, let me say this. If I tell you that the original choice was going to be Mary Steenburgen.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Yeah,
But the problem is this. I like Mary Steenburgen.
I do too.
I think she's kooky though.
Yeah, she's a little.
Or I don't know, kookie's the right word, but like eccentric or like earthy.
Sure.
Like I'm not sure exactly what I'm trying to
Yeah, I
find,
know
but
what you
I'm
mean.
thinking about we saw her in Time After Time,
Mhm.
and that's a very crazy movie, but she's in that. And also then I think of her in like Elf,
Mhm.
right? She's just a vibe loving person to me.
Yeah.
She's got this like rainbow power, like
Yeah.
not rainbow Care Bear power
Yeah,
about
no,
her,
I know
you
what you
know?
mean.
And I'm trying to think of her in this role, and it doesn't work
Right.
at all.
I completely agree. I don't think it would have worked. Yeah, Mary Steenburgen's this kind of person that she feels like. I totally get what you're saying. She has like this not really hippie kind of like air about her, but almost with the touch of Julie Haggerty from What About Bob?
Oh, for sure. Where you almost feel like they're slightly naive, but they're not naive.
Right.
And so, as much as I love both of those actresses, this role's, I guess, more refined, right? The thing is, I'd never seen this actress before, probably in any
Mary McDonnell.
Mary McDonald. So I know you may mention that she's in Dances
Dances.
with Wolves, right? But I probably hadn't seen it or connected it, right? And it's funny because, I grew up in a house of movies and with my family, we're big into movies. And so we quote things. One of the silliest things we quote is from this movie. And it's when she goes,
Practice, practice, practice.
and it's a stupid part. Like, but it's, it was a quote.
Quotable, yeah.
And so, like, there's something to be said about picking a right cast. There's something to be said about playing a character well.
Mhm.
She does it.
Yeah.
Could someone else have done it? Possibly. There's definitely people who shouldn't do it, right? I think we've covered that. But aside from that, she did her job,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Her character's pretty basic, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And so
So it's not really on her, it's just the way it's, like, written,
for
kind
sure.
of, yeah.
Yeah. And then so we talked about her. We talked about River Phoenix.
Uh-huh.
So the next person, let's go to Dan Aykroyd's
Okay.
character, okay? His character is called Mother.
Yeah.
Okay. So why do you feel like they just call him Mother. They really don't tell us why. But why do you think?
I have always thought that they call him Mother because I think of Mothership. I always think of the alien Mothership. So every time, like anytime I've ever watched it, that's what comes to mind because it fits for me because he's like this total conspiracist and he believes in some different kind of thoughts, has different kind of thoughts and beliefs.
I mean, to your point, you are right. He is a conspiracist. He makes mention multiple times of cow mutilations.
Cattle mutilations are up.
From aliens, right? Yeah. So that's what comes to mind, has always come to mind when I think of Mother. I don't think of him being a maternal type character. I just think of they call him that because of the mothership. But what do you
I like it.
yeah.
I think more from the perspective of Mother as the worrier.
Oh,
They
okay.
call him Mother because he
Oh,
worries about things. So he's the over preparer in my mind.
that's true. Yeah.
So if they're doing something, don't worry, Mother's probably prepared for it.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I come from that idea of
That's
it.
good.
But
I
I
hadn't thought
mean,
of that.
he is wacky.
He is.
He is so wacky in this
I had
role.
only known him from Ghostbusters. Well, I mean, I think I'd seen Trading Places and Great Outdoors, but I really knew him from Ghostbusters um at this point. And so seeing him in this, I'm like, whoa, what a wow, I saw him driving Miss Daisy. I've seen parts of that, I think. Anyway, but yeah, him in this is funny, and we were talking about it. I personally would not be shocked if I found out that all of his crazy conspiracy things that he talks about in this movie came from Dan Aykroyd.
I believe it. He's very unique in this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I saw a lot of movies as a kid. I didn't pay attention to actors till much later, so I can't tell you if I'd seen anything that I really was like, I know who that guy is.
My Girl came out right before the
That's probably the one that I did see before this. And then I just thought this guy plays depressing, wacky characters, which I wouldn't say his role in this is as a depressing character, though, but definitely removed from the norm.
I'm kind of cynical almost.
Yeah,
That's Mother.
that's Mother. I'm saving my favorite as for last before Robert Redford.
Okay.
So now, Sidney Poitier.
Yep. Reese. I again, this was my first movie with Sidney Poitier too. I had not seen anything else he was in. Again, I didn't realize that he had a history of movies. I had only known him as this, and I love him in this movie. I think he's really good.
I agree. He's really great in this movie. His character's more straightforward for sure.
You get all the fun stuff.
We know that he worked in a governmental role um, for quite a while in his life, and then somehow he ended up working with Robert Redford. And the great thing about this is this group of people have been working together, and I assume they kind of just grab a person and go along and, they find someone new. So I always assume that it started out with Robert Redford and Sidney Poitier's character getting together. And then obviously I think that River Phoenix's character came last as he is the
How
youngest.
funny! I thought the same thing.
With that being said, I figure they just kind of pick people up along the way as they find people who are able to support and help this group.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, my favoriteest. He is my favorite character in this movie, and it's Whistler, right? And does he have another name besides Whistler?
They say it in the movie. I have seen this movie 1,700 times.
That's a lot of times, Jason.
Can't tell you what his other name is. Pete Mitchell.
Wrong movie.
Yeah. I don't know what his name is. I just know Whistler. David Strathairn is the actor who
And
plays his
okay,
character.
so here's the thing. I had never seen David Strathairn in anything else prior to this.
Right. Same here.
I thought he was blind in real life.
I did too. It wasn't until a couple years later when he did The River Wild with Meryl Streep that I'm like, oh, he's not blind.
He is so believable at being blind.
Yeah, like his eyes even they never connect with anybody. Like
Almost drops his food. Everything is just really well done. It's funny, you get this ragtag group of people together, but he's also a real big source of comic relief.
oh, for sure.
And it's not at the expense of his blindness, though. It's not like, no, it's not like, let's laugh at the blind guy who falls down a hole.
Right. Yeah, I understand what you.
That it's not because of that, right?
Yeah, yeah. He doesn't walk into holes.
Right. So one of my favorite scenes is right after Robert Redford's been kidnapped. I guess that's kind of what happened, right?
Abducted somehow.
Abducted. It's been abducted, and they're trying to figure out where he had been taken to. And Whistler's like, well, did you hear anything? Because Robert Redford's in the trunk. And he's like, okay. And this takes place in the Bay Area. And so he's like, did you go over a bridge? And so they go through all these parts, and Whistler's helping him. And so Whistler pieces together what this road would sound like. And then, but my most absolute favorite part is when Robert Redford says he heard a cocktail party, and Whistler smiles, and he's like, keep going down the road because he knows what the sound is. And they get there, and I don't want to spoil this part, but you find out what it really was, and Whistler says,
Remind me to make you an honorary blind person.
and it is just the funniest thing. I laugh so hard at that each time, and I know it is coming, and I probably say it in my head, but it is just hilarious. And so to me, that's not at the expense of his being blind, obviously, right?
Right.
He's blind. It's funny. They're not making fun of it.
No, it's actually at the expense of Robert Redford's character on not being very aware of his own senses, and stuff. So it's really very funny. And David Strathairn is so good in this movie. He plays such a wholesome character. You know what I mean? For the most part, like his wish for goodwill and stuff. But he's also, like you said, he's got some great lines in there. Like when he's speaking into Robert Redford's earpiece when he's pretending to be the PI.
Be a beacon.
It's so good. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, great cast of characters. Would you change any of them?
Honestly, no. They work really well. And it's probably, in my opinion, such a diverse group of people that if I was making a movie and they said, we have Robert Redford and then we have David Strathairn and River Phoenix and Dan Aykroyd and Cindy Poitier, I'd be like, is this gonna work? Because they feel so diverse for me. I'm like, what's your connecting thread? It works supremely well. No one is too big for their role, no one's too big for their britches, no one is trying to outshine, outscreen, outdo anyone. And I think that's part of the reason it works too. Even though he is in the movie, probably wasn't really well known, probably still might not be super well known. Timothy Busfield. Okay. He's one of those people that I'm like, I see him in lots of things. I may not always remember his name. I may not always remember his movies. I almost always like him.
Yeah, same here.
And he did a great job in this film. And I'm like, he draws you in. You like him. And he did a good job. And so even down to like the smallest detail and character, I think was done really well.
Everybody does such a great job. For me, it's so funny because I look at that cast, and the one that really throws it off for me is Dan Aykroyd, um, more than anyone else. But he really just gels in the whole group. One of my favorite things is the little interactions between all of them, and Sidney Poitier and Dan Aykroyd's character, Kreese and Mother, are so funny to me because, like you said,
Oh, they hate each other so much because Kreese is obviously the law-abiding government official guy, and Dan Aykroyd character Mother is just such the conspiracy. I mean, he goes off on the how the moon landing was fake. He goes off on how JFK wasn't really killed, and the government, you know, hit it, and for their reasons, like everything, and it just drives Kreese up the wall.
he even says it to Kreese's wife. He's like bending her ear, and Kreese is like, "Come on, get away."
So, it's enough I have to deal with is crazy. You shouldn't have to deal with it either.
You're right when you say that no one is too big. Robert Redford has a chance to outshine everybody in a big way, but he blends right in. He still outshines everybody because he's Robert Redford. But he doesn't. He fits. I don't feel like he's. I don't feel him so much as like the separate from the rest of the group. He is a leader, but he's a part of the group as much as everyone else is. And I think he downplays a lot of stuff in the movie, and he plays it really well. Um, I think about how, like, him trying to open the door, he doesn't know what to do.
Anybody remember how to defeat an electronic keypad?
Oh, don't even joke about that, Martin. Those things are impossible.
Think I'm joking? Looks like they just put it in.
And he needs the group's help, and he plays it so well where he's like relying on them. And Robert Redford's great in this movie, and his delivery of lines, of humor. And now I knew who Robert Redford was before I'd seen the movie. I just hadn't seen anything with him in it. But he was sandwiched in between two dramas in this movie. He had just done Havana the year before, or 2 years before, and then he did Indecent Proposal the year after this movie, which is a huge different role for him,
For sure.
just in general, and then definitely different than his role in this movie. And so I I always knew Robert Redford when I had seen trailers. I always knew him as just the guy that was in dramas, like he was in Out of Africa. And I haven't seen Legal Eagles. I guess is that a comedy? Have you seen that one?
A long time ago. Probably have to revisit it.
And then he did River Runs Through It, which is a total drama too. And then I watched Quiz Show later, and so I just knew him as the drama guy. So seeing him in Sneakers was just something. I'm like, oh, this guy's funny. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to watch more of his movies. Maybe he's really funny. I don't know, to be honest, if any of his other films in his later career were as funny. Um, But his early career, definitely. And Butch Cassidy, he's hilarious in that. And Sting, he's really funny in that
I
too.
think he plays a really good comedic straight man.
He is good for bouncing jokes off of.
He has the charm, and he's okay with being part of or being the joke.
Yeah, I like in Barefoot in the Park. Um, in that, he's definitely the straight man, and Jane Fonda is definitely kind of the goofy one. the funny one, and I just think about how right after they get married, and she's like uh, exhausting him physically, and he could just see it on his face. He's like, "Okay, enough," And he plays it so well. He's a great actor. In Sneakers, he's great in this movie.
Most definitely.
One of the things about this movie and about the story and the characters that I like, and you'd kind of touched on it, was we don't get an origin of this group, right? We just see that they've been together and they've been working together, and obviously they get along professionally really well with each other.
Hmm.
And something I've always liked, at least in my perspective of it, Mary McDonnell says,
Bishop, you don't have a business. You have a club. It's a boys' club. You have a little clubhouse, probably have a secret handshake.
and I totally see that, not just because they're all men, but I totally see it as a little boys' club. I feel like it's just these early teenage kids that are like, how do we break into this? How do we crack into this? How do we do this stuff? They're just so like inquisitive, and um, they're sneaky, obviously the name. And that's how I see. I don't see very mature characters in that aspect. I mean, they're mature characters, but I see them as like when it comes to the job, it's almost like they're playing. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, totally.
And so when she's like, yeah, little boys club, I feel that's a great sum up of what they are. They're they're just playing.
So I have to say that this is our favorite movie that Robert Redford acted in, correct? So with that being said, I went through and found my top 4.
Okay.
Do you want to try to guess, or do you just want me to tell you?
Let me guess what your top 4 is.
Bet you can't guess what the first one is.
Sneakers.
Ah,
Top 4. I can tell you some that I know you don't like as much.
no. That is not what I asked.
The Sting.
The Sting, for sure. The Sting is my number 2 pick for Robert Redford.
Oh, the Hot Rock.
The Hot Rock, yes. That is my 3rd pick. Did you look?
No, that just came to me. I didn't look at all. That just came. I was going to ask if you were including his Marvel movies.
Yeah, but it still wouldn't make the list.
Oh, okay. Funny, all 3 of those kind of have a similar theme, and
They are all kind of Sting heist setup, catch the bad guy type of a thing.
all funny. Sting's probably a little more dramatic than the others.
Yeah,
Golly, what else? I don't know.
you already said it.
Did I? Is it Barefoot in the
It
Park?
is Barefoot in the Park. What are your top 4?
Let me look here.
I'm gonna say Sneakers,
Mm-hmm.
Butch Cassidy,
Yeah,
maybe The Sting.
that might be an honorable mention.
Okay. River Runs Through It.
No,
No?
that's one that he's directed that I liked, but one's on your list.
The Hot Rock?
Yeah, the Hot Rock. Yeah.
So we have Sneakers, Butch Cassidy, The Hot Rock. What is your other one?
It's been a while since I've seen it, but when I watched it a few times after the first time I watched it, and I really, really liked it, was The Last Castle.
Oh, okay. It's been a long time since I've seen that.
It's the same here, but I remember just thinking, what a great movie, and I remember thinking he turned in a really good performance in that. Hot Rock, I want to talk about that for a second, if that's
Okay.
okay. That was kind of a nice surprise for us recently. We watched, and he's hilarious in that. And again, another kind of heisty movie, and another kind of ragtag group. I don't know if they're all as great as the group in Sneakers, but it's still a pretty funny group. And if you haven't seen the Hot Rock, I would recommend checking that one out. It's clever, it's funny, it moves really well. George Segal is in it, who I'd only known from Just Shoot Me, and I'd never seen anything really. I don't think I'd seen anything else that he was in, and he's really funny in this, and just a good movie.
I like how you said we watched recently.
When was it?
December 28th, 2021.
Yeah, well, let me tell you this, how my brain works.
You're like Colby.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Anything that happened before today is yesterday and not too long ago.
Sneakers recently came out to me. The last like 20 years is recent to me.
Okay. I'm just saying, when you say recently,
Yeah.
that's maybe not as recent.
No, not as the
I
boys
just
do
wanted to
that.
clarify.
Boys do that to me a lot. They're like, "Hey, let's watch this movie. We haven't seen it in a long time." I'm like, guys, we just watched it. No, we didn't. It's probably been like 2 years. I forgot what movie that just happened a couple days ago. Well, who knows if it was a couple days ago? Um, but it just happened a couple days ago in my brain, and um, I said, "No, we like literally just watched it a few months ago." And they're all check, check, and so thanks to Letterboxd and so I checked, and would you know? I mean, they were right. It's been 2 years since we had seen this movie. I'm like, really? I swear we just watched this. So
Okay. So, Sneakers is a great, I'm going to say it's a comedic espionage heisty movie. And that's the best way I can break it down. I will say this, even though it came out in 92 and there's technology in it, it doesn't feel super dated to me. So, I mean, there's lack of cell phones, and then there is computers, which were pretty small, square, bulky things, right? But this is something I looked up because I love this movie. It's really great. And usually it happens when we like something a lot, even when it's older, it gets remade at some point. So they were going to make this into a TV show. There were plans in 2016 to make it into a TV show.
really,
Hasn't happened, obviously. But do you feel this movie could be adequately made into a movie nowadays if they did remake it?
no, I don't think so because I think if it was made now, they would lean too much on the tech.
Okay. Which, this movie is not about the tech. This movie is about the idea of what's going on. We got to figure this out. And the sneaking around and solving anagrams or whatever those are. And so it's all about that. I get it. If they remade it, they couldn't rely on the tech.
Because that would date it. And I don't feel, and maybe it's just because I've grown up with this movie, but I don't really feel it's dated. I don't miss that there's no internet in the movie. I don't feel like that's a gap that needs to be filled because they're able to break into things anyway.
Yeah, so it didn't matter.
I think if they redid it, two things. I think they would lean in too much on the tech, and I think they might. I don't think the humor would be as
For
good
sure.
because I think they would go with a younger cast, and I think it helps that this is a more mature cast.
So I think if they were going the TV show route, the TV show would rely solely on a group of people. This is just my idea. I didn't look this up. Would have to be solely a group of people who just show people where their faults lie with their security, with the break in, right? So they have a different, basically, mission each week to perform, right? And it's not this huge, I mean, you can find
I think you
some
have that arc.
arc, but it doesn't have to be this arc of what happened in this movie. So it's the idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, if the movie was remade, I would just completely branch off and do something more like a group of people who do this.
Who would you cast? That's what I want to know. If it was remade today,
If I was going to cast this movie nowadays, who would I cast? I want people to go see the movie.
while you're thinking about that, this movie was pretty modest. It cost something like 26 million dollars and made only like 50 million domestically. Worldwide, it did really well. It was like over 100 million. But like domestically, it barely made like twice its amount.
Which, so there's some movies that just do better afterwards. Sometimes I don't think the crowds are ready for movies, and different people find movies at different times. But IMDb has it listed on a scale of 1 to 10, and it has it as a 7.1.
And Letterbox is 3.6.
So I feel that's pretty good. I mean, we liked it, I think probably a 4.
Mm-hmm.
out of 5 is what that rating is on Letterboxd.
We probably need to up that to
4.5, 5. It's really good.
You mentioned the net earlier. I watched the net not too long ago. Who knows what that means?
Watched that 10 years ago.
Yeah. But I felt as good as that movie is, and I like that movie.
Oh, I'm sure it's super dated.
It is. It feels really dated. The internet was so brand new at the time, and they still didn't even quite get to how much it could do, and so it definitely feels dated. I think she uses like CD-ROMs, and this movie Sneakers does not. To me, it does not feel dated. And I what movie came out the same year? Forever Young came out the same year as this movie, and I remember thinking then that Forever Young, as much as I love that movie, dated itself with the things that were just in 1992. Because I was thinking like, oh, this is going to change. TVs will get bigger, is what I thought, and other things. I thought phones would change. I was a real thinker, man, and I didn't think they would change the way they did, but I just knew at the time. And then with Sneakers, I didn't feel that way then, and I don't feel that way now. I feel like it's still a very relevant movie.
And I think that's because, like you said, they don't lean on the tech, they lean on a story. And I think that's what makes it relevant. The story is about a person. The story is about helping a person. It really is. They're trying to get a gadget, a tech item, whatever, and they use tech, but that is not their end all be all throughout the entire film. And so I think that's what makes it more timeless, is that, like you said, the group. So with that being said, there's 2 things I want to bring up before we call it.
Well, did you want to cast it? Did you know who?
Oh, who am I casting? Ugh.
You don't have to
Wait, no, here's my question. Do you know who you're
I
casting?
have some people in mind. So let me say, you don't have to necessarily assign them the role. But if you just had people that you think you would like to put in the movie,
Who you putting?
Michael Pena comes to mind.
Oh, he'd be hilarious. Would you put him? I would just see him as like the mother
That's
character.
who I would think too. How funny. He seems very like conspiracy theorist kind of.
If I was casting, Christian Slater would be in there because then I'd get to meet him. So Christian Slater all day, every day. I could actually see him playing the main character.
I can too. He kind of had a similar role on that Breaking
In TV show. Yeah, it doesn't mean it would be him, but I would love to see him. Period. And then if I was going younger person, I feel like Tom Holland is just the easy shoe-in choice. I like Tom Holland, and I think he plays Ernest,
Okay.
sincere-hearted character. So I could see him being kind of more. I feel like River Phoenix is supposed to be a bit bumbling, right? He can do a task, but he's not quite sure. He's still learning his ropes and ways. And I feel like he could probably portray that. Hence his Spider-Man fame, right? That's basically what it feels like to me. Unless there's someone else you can think of.
There is no other young person.
There are no other young people. There's like 2 young people, and that's it. No, the problem is everyone is young, and I don't know who they are anymore.
Like, I see these people show up in these trailers and posters and stuff. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, I just see them as like, oh, this is brand new, this person. And nope, they've already been in 30 movies that I've not seen. And I'm like, what's going on? Like that guy in Eternity that we just watched the preview for. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. To me, he's brand new, but he's been in a bunch of stuff already. And I don't know.
Now, you know what? My bumbling person, I changed it. Tanner Gilman, we just saw in a performance of Curse of Crom 2, which has not come out yet. We saw the world premiere.
Woohoo!
I think River Phoenix character, he could play that. It would be hilarious.
It would be so good.
But I'm okay with aging that character a bit. And having him in that, I think would be quite hilarious.
Do it. Let's remake this movie just so Tanner Gilman could be in this movie.
He's someone that a lot of people may not know, but His comedic timing is one of the best I've ever seen. It's very natural, and he does well on the screen. So I think I would pick him. It would be nice to see kind of a lesser known in a role that has really good substantial character.
Yeah, I agree. And he's got Riz for days.
All right, so we have Christian Slater and Michael Pena as Mother. Great. This is a great cast. And then
Tanner Gilman.
Tanner Gilman. This feels too nail on the head for me, but I feel a good blind man could be Steve Carell. I think he could be good blind, comes across as a straight guy, and you get some comedic performance from him.
That would be cool to see him in like an ensemble role. He's kind of like that in Four Seasons, right? Where he's
an ensemble character for sure.
How about this? You write to us about who you would cast in your Sneakers remake, and then we'll take credit for it.
And then the other thing I want to say before we go, so I'm not there's two things I wanted to talk about real quick. The other being, we're talking about Robert Redford, our favorite movie performance. Do you have a favorite movie that he directed?
Oh, for sure.
And what would that be?
Quiz Show.
Quiz Show's your
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
What about you?
My favorite is probably a movie I don't like.
Is it The Horse Whisperer?
Yes. That is one of the most gorgeously filmed movies I have ever seen. His eye for just capturing beauty, and he does it really well also in River Runs Through It. Although it's been a while since I've seen that one too. But with that being said, the beauty and the just pure scope of that film still, like, I see images throughout my mind. I was not a fan of the movie or the story, but visually stunning and gorgeous. And so as a director, I think he directed it so well. And so, is it a movie I am going to watch repeatedly? No. I watched it once.
Yeah, same here. I saw it once. I liked him in it. I don't even remember who the rest of the cast is. Is Scarlett Johansson's in there?
What's the name? Not Kristen. What is her name? Kristen Scott? Not Kristen Scott.
Is Kristen Scott Thomas?
Is it her?
Yeah. Yeah, it's her.
So I was right.
Yeah, and Sam Neill's in it.
Which is a problem because I love Sam Neill too, and I want to love everything he's in.
Maybe we should try it again.
Maybe that I'm older.
Bagger Vance is like that for me too. I think it's beautiful. It's not really a movie I like very much, but he did a great job directing it. Yeah.
So with that being said, we just named what we felt were probably two of his better directed films. And now, something I typically don't do. What is a Robert Redford movie that you watched and you did not like?
It's not his fault. I didn't like the new Pete's Dragon.
Oh, I was so disappointed. I wanted to love it so much. I can understand. It isn't his fault. He was okay in it.
You know what's so funny? I think all of the actors were good. I think the little boy was good. I think Bryce Dallas Howard was good. I just didn't think it was written very well.
For sure. I totally agree. And that was one of those ones I thought I would love them to remake, but they screwed it up hardcore and it was so sad. But like you said, it's not his fault. So,
Okay, let me see if I can guess yours. There's a few that come to mind. Up Close and Personal.
oh, I hate that movie. That movie's BS.
All Is Lost.
I actually like that movie.
I wasn't sure where you were.
No, I like it. It's depressing as heck, but I love what it says about the human condition. And so if you haven't checked out All Is Lost, watch it, get really depressed, and then see if you feel better about life after it. Because, like, no joke, like, I watched, I'm like, where is this movie going but down? Oh, it's going further down. We have found a shovel and are digging now. And then hope. That's just like, so if you haven't seen it, check it out. I like it, so you're wrong.
I am wrong. Indecent Proposal?
Come on. Think, McFly, think.
Oh, I know. I know without looking. I know what it is. I know it's a highly regarded film.
It is a super highly regarded film.
And we did not enjoy this movie.
We did not.
3 Days of the Condor.
Yes. Oh my gosh. We watched this movie because a lot of people like 3 Days of the Condor. I'm not sure why. I felt 3 Days of the Condor was too long. And then I found out originally it was 6 Days of the Condor. And I was glad they made it into 3 instead. The problem with that movie isn't Robert Redford. The problem is the story. Faye Dunaway, is she the person in it? Oh, not a fan. Weird love sex stuff going on. That's a movie that could be remade and probably be done better than what it was. And I don't know why it has such high regard. Maybe at the time when it came out, people were naive about what a movie could be. I don't know. So for me, that's the stinker of a movie I've seen with Robert Redford that I would not recommend for people to watch or waste their time on, because there's so much better classic films out there that you should be immersing yourselves in.
No kidding. So that movie came out in 1975. You know what came out in 1975? Jaws.
I was gonna say Jaws.
So Jaws came out. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Picnic at Hanging Rock.
Picnic at Hanging Rock is for a very limited few people, Jason.
That's a great movie. It is good. No,
yeah.
you might be right. Holy Grail
that could
came out
be
that year.
3 Days of the Condor for some people.
No, it's not going to be. That movie's so good.
What was the other one you said?
Holy Grail came out that year,
okay.
which also probably has a select audience. But I'm just saying, there were quality films that came out that year. So I don't know if I could blame the... I think you and I are really good at putting ourselves as best we can in the shoes of the audiences of the time of the release of the movie.
Maybe it was one of the first espionage type movies, because that is a really big espionage type guy on the run trying to clear his name type of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So can you think of anything around that time or before it?
Conversation? Is that kind of espionage with Gene Hackman?
I was gonna say, is that Gene Hackman?
I really can't think of any others.
So maybe that's what the draw is. This, will he get away? Can he clear his name? What's going on? I don't know. So thinking about that, because I think about other films that get tons of praise. So I remember growing up and American Beauty came out. So unpopular opinion, I hated American Beauty.
Look at all the emails coming in.
I did not. When I saw previews for it, I did not want to see it. No desire. Zero desire. Negative desire to see this film. And then people around me started seeing it, and my parents' friends and coworkers saw it and say, "Oh, how good it is and how great it is, and it's this and it's that," saying how great it is, right? And so I went and saw it, and I was like, no, it's not. And I don't know if it's because, one, I've been exposed to many films throughout my life. So I have a different standard of what I see in film. And so when I see certain things, I say, that's not new and groundbreaking. I've seen it done. I've seen it done better, or I've seen it done somewhere else, or I've seen it convey the same type of feeling without being as grotesque or without being as volatile or something, right? They made a movie in order to move people. I've seen other movies done better that moved me more. So when I saw that, and I was like, ugh, why'd I waste my time on that? So then I'm thinking, well, maybe 3 Days of a Condor is kind of the same thing. For me now, why did I waste my time on that? I've seen things done better. I've seen things done and convey more coherently. But maybe at the time it was the draw that hit people in a right way. I don't know. I'm just saying, for me, 3 Days of a Condor, but I'd watch it again over American Beauty.
Oh, well, thank you for listening. And is there anything else you want to add?
That's our take.